Hello everybody and welcome to another video. In this video we're going to be looking at yesterday's balance slate update for Warhammer 40k, my views now that I've actually played with the update. So let's have a look and jump in. Yes, so yesterday we got the balance slate update, and it's a pretty hefty update, to be fair, with some quite significant changes to the game. Now, I was going to make a video yesterday about the changes, but I had a game organised for last night against my friend Tom and his custody guard. So I figured probably be a good idea to sort of wait, play the game, and then give you my generic feedback on what I think now that I've actually played it. So out of all of the main sort of changes, mainly to the core rules, the two of them that were really sort of changed, the deep striking within 3 inches doesn't really affect me or Tom. Neither of us use units that can do that, so that's not really a thing. But if you do have any units that can deep strike within 3 inches, you can now have to deep strike within 6 inches. I can see the whole thing for it. It stops you from dropping onto an objective, and it kind of makes it a little bit fairer. And because not all armies have some of these units that are able to do it, so it kind of changes some units of how they were being used ultimately. Now, one thing that I did use was the armor of penetration stratagems, obviously armor of contempt, and on using it, one time I was basically just fighting one unit and it kind of just felt normal, didn't feel any different. But when I had one unit being attacked by multiple units in close combat, then obviously the first round that I used it on, I was able to negate that -1, and I was on my 4-up saves. And after that I was then back onto 5s, and I kind of, the second round of combat from the second unit, I kind of felt more than the first. So yeah, that was a little bit, I kind of felt that one. So yeah, I'm not overly too sure how I ultimately feel on this. I don't think it was necessarily the right thing to do. I think I understand that the more obnoxious units that are really benefiting from this are things like Terminators, Deathwing Knights, Terminators, and other sort of elite 2+ save units. So I can understand why. I think what they should have just done is said that it can't be used on a 2-up armor save model or 2-up armor save unit. I think that would have probably been a better change than actually changing this, because 3-up armor saves really do get hit with this quite hard, and it's a little bit, yeah, I'm still 50-50, but I think there was probably better ways of negating the abuse that this was happening. Now, all in all, the rest of it is basically all of the army changes. Now, there is quite a lot. I'm not going to go through everything. Obviously, the shield bikes, we seen them in my game last night. This was pretty brutal. Yeah, the beam toughness 7 made them really tanky, and 5 wounds, which was pretty decent. We didn't see the, I believe that the, I seen the new weapon profile. I think with 3 of them shot at my tank, my executioner, and did 10 wounds from 3 guys, which was pretty scary, to be completely honest. So yeah, it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool to see the bikes on the table, and yeah, they're pretty potent. So yeah, well, that's all I could really say about the Custodes guards. But I'll talk through my game that I had against Tom and his Custodes last night, and some of the things that I found with the new Space Marine changes, which there are quite a lot of. So obviously, there's obviously changes to the Black Templars. Blood Angels didn't get any. Dark Angels got some changes. a couple of new profiles and things like that for certain units, which was kind of cool. Obviously, depending on your army, I do definitely suggest you go and have a look, because there are quite a few little changes that you may not necessarily pick up on. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Now, Space Marines have got a lot of changes, and I will go through them straight away. Now, first things first, the biggest change that Space Marines have got is the change to Oath of Moment. Now, obviously, if you are playing a Black Templars, a Blood Angels, a Dark Angels, a Death Watch, or a Space Wolf army, this change doesn't apply to you. This only applies if you are playing Space Marines straight out of the Space Marine Codex, which I was. I'm playing Ultramarines for my Howling Griffins. So this effect worked straight away. So basically, we picked our mission and everything else last night, and I rolled for priority, and I got first turn, and straight away I moved into the Devastation Doctrine, because I was playing Gladius Strike Task Force, and I was able to move and then pop 1 CP for Storm of Fire for my tanks to basically ignore cover, because we had Fog of War on. And I also got +1 armor penetration on all my guns. This is very important. Now, I have used my Executioner in pretty much every single game that I've played in 40k since coming back with my learning to play 40k, and straight away I can literally say that the tank felt scary last night compared to previous games, and there's a couple of things for that. One, obviously I got the +1 armor penetration on all of my guns, so a lot of the guns on the tank have no AP. Now, they did have AP, which was kind of nice, but the biggest thing that straight away was the +1 to wound. Absolute game changer, and seriously really scary. The reason why is a lot of my guns are strength 6, even the strength 5 for guns like the defense array was normally going to be wounding tanks on 6s. Now I'm pulling that down to 5s, rolling 10 dice, re-rolling hits, and then rolling like all of my 10 dice and fishing for 5s with the -1 AP, because of the stratagem, really allowed me just to chip a little bit of damage off the tank. And then also my being within range of the 18 inches of, so my heavy stubbers were getting their 6 shots, and their strength 6, so they were bringing it down to wounding the tank on 5s. My heavy bolter being able to wound on 4s and 5s as well. It really sort of stacked overall, and I was really able to do some big damage, and eventually killed his custody tank thing on turn 1. Now, it is really, really, really good. It kind of feels quite nice, that +1, even for things like my intercessors, who have now got a new rule, the target elimination rule, which is there just at the bottom. So basically, if all of the unit now fires at the same target, and you get an extra 2 shots. So if you're outside of 12 inches, you're going to have 3 shots per model. If you're within rapid fire range, you're having 4 shots per bolt rifle, which is quite good. I mean, like, that's like nearly, what was it, 16 shots from 4 models. Sergeant having a plasma pistol, just popping 1 round off. It was a lot of DACA coming out, and then with the Oath of Moment, re-rolling hits, and +1 to wound, it was meaning in most cases I was wounding Custody Guard on 4s when I normally would be on 5s, which is brilliant. So I was able to put a lot of hurt, a lot of dishing out on them, and really good. Does this mean that things like intercessors are going to be meta? Probably not. I'm not really a massive competitive player, but the idea of having 3 drop pods full of 10-man intercessor squads jumping out within 12 inches and then rapid firing your units and pumping out an insane amount of dice sounds really, really, really good, and really thematic, and Rule of Cool always wins. Obviously, there are a few other changes, like fire discipline and a little things. which is quite a lot in here. So obviously, if you are a Space Marine player, I definitely recommend going over and reading the document, because there are a lot of changes that may affect your chosen chapter. Now, one of the things I will say straight away is, and this is a really big one, is Rabute Gilliman went up 60 points, and he had a significant change to his rules. And I think it's a change that didn't need to happen. I was using Rabute Gilliman last night, and his biggest change is that he now gets to do two of his codex ability. So normally in your command phase, you pick, it's just here, author of the codex. Normally you would get to pick one or ability, so you could either pick two author moment targets, or you would be able to pick +1 or C, or you would do some battle shock shenanigans to your troops. Now you basically pick two. You're always going to be picking two author moment targets, and then you're going to be able to do something else. I was picking the OC, which, because they also affect him, so he's able to just get -1 CP on any stratagems he needs to pull, or anything else like that, and anyone within 12 inches also gets to do it. And it was really, really strong. He is scary. At 345 points, he is a beast. And he gives so much to Ultramarine armies, especially with this new author moment change. He's just a combat monster. Definitely going to be seeing a lot of Ultramarine armies in the future, I think. And there's some really interesting sort of build and ideas. Like if you play Crimson Fists, the changes to Stern Guard, really cool. The fact that each time a model in this unit makes an attack that targets an author moment target, you can re-roll the wound rolls. Couple that in with your anti-infantry 4+, and your devastating wounds, you're able to re-roll and start fishing for those 4+s. Is going to make Stern Guard pretty scary against infantry-based armies, which is kind of cool, especially when we can see changes to a lot of them. So yeah, all in all, it was pretty good. So what do I think of the balance slate as a whole now that I've played a game with it last night? Yeah, I enjoyed the game. Space Marines definitely feel a lot stronger than they did. I noticed I'm really intrigued by intercessors now. I don't think they're going to be like, massive sort of meta comb sort of busting units, but I do think you probably will find a place. They still have sticky objectives, which makes them still quite good for holding your back line. But the fact that, they are actually able to pump out some damage now, really good. Transport capacity in the Repulsion Executioner going up to 7, allowing me to put like 6 guys or 6 Blade Guard and a Lieutenant or a Captain in there is really cool, because I love that tank. So it kind of gives you a little bit of a transport capacity to get units around the board, while also being a gun platform, which is kind of cool. Rebooted Killerman is just bonkers. And there's a lot of other cool changes. So speaking to a lot of friends who play different armies, Genestealer Cult changing is a bit of a harsh one. And I feel kind of sorry for Genestealer Cult players, because their book is absolutely ravaged. Dark Angels, again, the Sisters of Silence, sorry, their changes to their dice, the Miracle dice, it was needed, and we'll see how that sort of pans out on the competitive scene, in all. But all in all, it was a pretty decent slate, and some nice changes. I'm still not 100% on the Armor of Contempt changes, but it is what it is. I think that will probably get reverted at some stage to be something a little bit different, because I think it's going to hit Marine armies quite hard. But yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff. Obviously, there's a lot of cool stuff coming for 40k. The Imperial Guard are literally the next around the corner, and then Eldar, and then obviously Imperial Knights. are also coming. So it's a lot of cool stuff coming for 40k. But yeah, I had a fun game last night against Tom. It was always good laugh playing my friend. He's such a great guy to play. It gets so salty when it doesn't go his way, but which makes it even funnier because it's just hilarious. And yeah, it was fun. It's like that's 2 games on the bounce now that I've played him and played against his custodians and I've beaten him. So I'm feeling quite good about that. And a lot of that's down to Stephen Box and Vanguard Tactics for their masterclasses of sort of teaching how to play 40k and the combinations and everything else. And how to identify those combinations and then work from there. So they definitely give that foundation of becoming a better player, and it's really good. And then getting the repetitions in. So yeah, fully enjoying my journey into 40k and more, and also really looking forward to getting my Blood Angels on the board and up and running next year. We're also going to be, I'm probably going to be end up doing a Chaos Space Marine army. I'm not going to lie. It's either going to be one of the cult books, still holding out for the Emperor's Children to see what they all look like. But yeah, I could be persuaded into doing either Emperor's Children, Thousand Sons, or Death Guard. Death Guard with the change to Matorian getting the Deep Strike ability is really interesting. Angron is just fun. World Eaters are a fun army because they're just point and click. Normal Chaos Space Marines would be kind of really cool because there's just something really cool about Chaos Space Marines, and I'm a big fan of Chaos Space Marines. And this channel was originally created or renamed, rebranded as 8 Pointed Star Painting, and that's where the pointy comes from because I'm a big fan of Chaos, although I do just love Space Marines in general. So yeah, there's probably potential of that going to be happening next year. So I'm still sort of holding out to see which way the wind blows. And if not, I will probably may end up doing like a Slaves to Darkness army because I just love Chaos in general. But yeah, that's the video. I really quite like the changes. I enjoyed my game last night. I'm looking forward to more games of 40k in the future. And yeah, I will definitely be keeping you up to date on that. And hopefully at some point next year, I'm going to be taking the pilgrimage to Nottingham to get to Warhammer World. So maybe we could even do a channel meetup if anyone wanted to do that, which would be kind of cool. But anyway, that's the video. If you like what I do, please like, subscribe, share, and all of that good stuff. Check out my members and Patreon areas. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff coming for the channel. Getting super excited. New microphone is definitely at the top of my list right now to sort out the sound issues. The lead for the camera is on its way. The new one, the one that I got was too short, so that's going to come. And then once that's done, I'll be able to back into doing some not only painting tutorials but live streaming as well. And yeah, we're generally just going to be really pushing hard. I'm going to be doing a video probably next week on sort of looking back at 2024 and my looking forward to 2025 for the channel as a whole. So yeah, all in all, thank you for all of your support. It means a lot. And I will see you in the next video, everybody. Goodbye for now.